All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to go over with you guys in this video how to start a new project and get going on your six edit grid. The goal of this project is to learn some new tools in Photopea and learn how to manipulate each individual photo. You can work with at least 6 photos. You can mix more than that. And play with different tools and follow along closely. Pause the video anytime you get stuck and go back. It's going to be a long one. Here we go. First of all, when using Photopea, I recommend to you guys, once again, to make sure you've downloaded it and use it outside of the browser. It'll probably work more smoothly for you that way. All right, so we're going to start with a new project. There's a couple ways to start. You can click on New Project when you have this window, or you can click on File, New right there. All right, click there, and then you have a dialog to open up a different type of document. Instead of opening a photo, what we're doing is opening what you could think of as a big piece of paper, like a poster paper. We're going to put items on it in different layers, and then each of those items we will edit separately into a collection of edits, a collection of projects. So yours probably starts here, says name is blank, and it's on social. Go to print. We want to make a print file. That means something that we could print like on paper at some point in the future. We probably won't with distance learning, but just so you know how to do it. So we're going to choose A3. It's a pretty big piece of paper, 11 by 16-ish, a little bigger. Click like there. Make sure the background is still white, so it's a white piece of paper. And on the name of the project, type your name and call it a 6 edits grid. And I'm going to put a 3 because this is the third time I'm doing it, demonstrating. So, but you guys just put 6 edits grid and your name. Okay. And then there's this button here that says create the document. All right. So here we are. We have our tools on the left side, our options for the tool on top, the menus at the top, and we have our layers. Make sure this panel is open. It says layers, okay? All we have is the white background layer, and that's all we need right now. When we create anything new in a layer, it often has these pins on it if we want to resize things, and that's because the transform tool is activated. We can turn that off to get rid of them, all right? Next, what we're going to do is create a little box or a rectangle to put photos into, or one photo into. So to do that, we go down to this tool on the bottom of the toolbar called rectangle. Click on it, and it activates. Notice how the option bar changes at the top. If we click and hold it, you can see you can actually make other shapes. And as you get used to this, it's okay if you want to get a little more adventurous and create different shapes for each edit. But everyone do the rectangle first for now. Click that one. Okay. And on the upper left, I'm going to just click and drag a shape. There it is, a rectangle. And then I let go. And what I tried to do there was create one that's approximately the size that I want to, knowing that I'm going to be creating 6 of them, but only make 1 for now. Okay. Now the reason it's red is because here in the options bar at the top, the default is to fill it with red. It's not going to stay red. Don't worry about that. But the stroke right here on the options bar is referring to like an outline on it. If you wanted to create that, I'm going to just leave everything on the options as it is for now, just to keep it simple. But you can know that you can change some features of your shape of this box or this rectangle if you wanted to later. Okay. So once you create a shape, notice also that it created a layer here on the right side, right? That's your indication of all the layers you have in a project. So we have our white background, and on top of it is a rectangle. Okay. I'm going to leave that there. Now I want to put a photo into that rectangle. And in this assignment in Google Classroom, I gave you guys a couple folders to choose pictures from. If you want to use any of those, you can. You have to download them first and then open them into Photopea. You also can, and I recommend you should, use any of your own photos too, because this project's about playing with tools and not about any one photo or another. We're just messing around with whatever photos we got, okay? So to open a photo as a layer in here rather than in a separate document, you go to File, then Open and Place. Make sure you click Open and Place. Here we go. And I'm going to pick some random photo. I'm going to go with my Edit in Photopea list of photos, and let's go to something you haven't seen yet. Yeah, I'm going to go back to this one. See what I got here. Oh, my cat's freaking out again. How about, I'm gonna go with this landscape, seascape, okay? Okay, so now I click Open and Place. Click Open, let it load up. And you see how instead of opening another tab for a document, it's like not opening a file separately, opening it in this project as a layer right there. So it's on top, right? Like anything you open, it usually starts with the pins around it so you can resize. And I do want to resize, so I'm going to grab the corner, hold down Shift to make sure that it keeps the aspect ratio. I don't want to stretch it or squeeze it, and then I can move it up on top of the box. And I want to get that inside the box. You'll see shortly how to do that. I could try to get it as close as I can by resizing. It's not going to be exact. I want to make it a little bigger than the rectangle. I place it there. Something like that, okay? And now the first new tool, well, I guess after the rectangle that we made, a new tool to understand how layers work. Here we go. I finished with the transform. I can click the checkbox to be done with the tool. And what I want to do is make this layer, look over here on the right, fit inside the shape. And I'm going to do what's called clipping them. So you move over from the little thumbnail picture here and right click on the layer, and you get this option to do clipping mask. Okay, that's a big one for this project, so get used to where it is. And you can see here that now it fits exactly inside the shape below. You see a little arrow right here is indicating that it has a clipping mask feature on, so it's clipping to the layer below. It's like putting a paper clip for the photo and the shape and making them mix together. If I want to undo it, I just uncheck mark it. See the difference in the photo? Now it fits inside. Now, if I click on the move tool, you can see I can move the photo because I got that layer selected and move it around if I wanted to. I can also transform it if I wanted to, make it bigger or smaller. Go to transform. Actually, I'll go to free transform.
What do you need, water?
Grab a corner, make it bigger or smaller as I want. All right, so I want it to fit however my creative side tells me to do it. Okay, so now it's clipped. Now, what we want to do with each of these exercises, we're going to do 6 of these, is to make edits of it and play around with some more tools. So here we go. I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. Click on that shortcut button right there, and you can choose any of the adjustment layers. We have the ones we've been using, black and white, and exposure, curves, levels. You can change color, but let's do something a little more dramatic and designy, like graphic design. So I'm going to do a pattern fill, and notice what happens. It creates the layer, but that pattern fill, this right now, the default pattern at the beginning here is this sun-like pattern, like wallpaper or something, or gift wrap. but it's covering not just the picture, but the whole document, the whole white background. All right. And I just want it to be on the photo. So you might predict, how do I make it so this layer only affects the one below it and fits on the picture? It's the same tool. Right click on the layer and go to clipping mask. And now I got it to fit just inside. So this edit points to only that photo and it's there. But now this pattern is completely blocking the photo, right? And what I want to do is make it so I mix them and I can see both in some way. So there's a couple things you can do right now. First is play with opacity. Opacity means not see-through. And so the opposite is see-through or transparent. And I can click on that slider right there and make it more transparent if I want to. Okay, I'm going to put about 50%. And that's one way to mix what's above and what's below right there. But it's not that exciting, right? It's kind of looking through a glass window that has a pattern on it. And it kind of killed the picture a little bit. So another way to do it, I'm going to put it back to fully opaque, is I can go to blend modes. And instead of it being normal with 100% capacity, which means not really blending at all, and I can click on any of these blend modes. So that's tool number 2. We got clipping mask and now blend modes to play with. And try a couple different modes. Go dissolve, not much happens, right? Try darken, that's kind of interesting. I can try color burn, that's getting more dramatic, way cool. I could try any of these, all right? And if you notice they're in groupings, which we'll learn about those groupings in more detail as we go. Today, we're messing around in the forest a little blindly to see what happens. Difference, exclusion, yeah. Try different things and see what you like best for now. Remember, we're just playing around and messing with it, see what we like. I think I'm going to go back to multiply. And also, I'm going to make the pattern a little bigger here so the suns are more visible. There we go. Little like celestial flower bodies or something. Okay, so there's an edit right there. I could close my properties there and I could add one more edit if I like. Maybe I want to see what posterize does. Pow. Whoa. All right. Make the levels a little different. I'm going to keep it down here. Right about there. Okay, and again, I could make, see this layer posterized is affecting everything below. I really only want it on that photo, so I'm going to clip it. So posterize and pattern are all affecting just that photo right there. And I can make it more or less opaque. Right? I kind of like the full effect right there. See, if I go command, or on a Mac, you go command plus. Oh, wrong button. Gotta click on the layer here. Command plus or command minus. On your Chromebook or PC, it's the control plus or minus. You can zoom in. Okay, and then if I want to, it went off the screen here, right? So I can hold down the space bar, get a hand, and move the whole document. See, the whole document's moving. So I can see a little better what's going on. Okay, so what we've done, we made a workspace in the background, put a shape, put a picture, try an edit, try another edit, and linking them together. And now I want to put some text on it. And on the text, I'm going to put one more layer where I'm going to label what I did on that edit. So here goes. I'm on the top layer. I'm going to create a text layer. Push T for type tool, or I think of it as text layer. Click it. Okay. And you'll see the options change. I have some options that I left off with before. Yours might look slightly different. Okay. And I click and drag a text box, kind of like in Google Slides or Docs. All right. And there's a text box. And if I click in it, double click, I can start typing. I can see the letters because I made the size 100 pixels. Yours is probably starting with a lower number. Try 100 pixels to start with. You can try a different font as well. Have fun with it. Pick a font that you like. I'm going to go with Preview for now. Oop. I need to select all the text first and then change it. Let's go to this one, Docdo. That's what it's called. All right, so notice it shrank a lot because that particular font is already small. So I'm going to make it 300. It's too big. Let's go 200. And oops, I just deleted it all. Okay, so type again. Okay, what I want you to type actually is not just any letters, but type what you did. I did that. Fix this. Go back to, I'm going to go to 150. Posterize. Pattern. I can't see it because I got to make the box a little bigger. All right, and I did blend mode. And if I could be more specific, I can go back to that and see what I did, multiply. All right, now that I've typed it, it's too big. I could shrink it by selecting all the text and making it a little smaller, like so, okay? And I can make my box a little smaller, like so. Wait for it to catch up to me and click check, okay? Now, if I want to move that text, I can leave it underneath, but I can also grab the move tool up here in the top, grab it and move it on top of it. And if I want to change the color of the text or anything, I'll leave that to you guys to figure out how to do. All right, so there is one edit. Now, the last step to finish each of the 6 edits is to group these together as one thing on your white paper. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, and to select all the layers, you have to hold down Command or Control, depending on what you're on. I'm on a Mac, so it's Command. You're on a PC or a Chromebook, it's Control probably. And so I select all the layers right there. And then down here on the bottom right, there's a little folder. Okay, and click that. And what it did is it grouped all the layers into a folder and keep them as one thing. Right? And I can expand it by hitting on the triangle. I can hit all of them again. Click on all of them again and link them. That's another thing to do too. So now I've created this little mini project on the paper, on the background. And I want it to all stay together, okay? And if I double click folder, I could call this edit 1. Watch this. With the move tool, I don't have to worry about breaking apart all my layers. I can grab it and move everything together. So I put that one edit right there, can transform. I want to click on, wrong one. Free transform, okay, wrong one. Let me undo that, X that. I can select all these. Now transform. Okay, it's not working. Anyway, I'll show you guys how to transform in another video. That's enough for now. I'm having a little trouble there. All right, and that's that. We're going to do that 6 times, and we're going to do it in class mostly. But if you want to do another one on your own, go ahead.